Man, I don't even know. It's a busy day today. I'm here for it. We got volcano stuff. We got Dumpfect Friday. We get a double header today. This is great.
Oh,
We almost never managed to do both Dumpfect Friday and Volcano Show on the same day.
Yep.
Mostly, oh, hold on. I'm hearing myself. Wait a minute. I knew that was gonna happen, and I forgot. There we go.
Oh.
It's just the chat window.
Okay.
So, like, I'm really excited about it because usually, like, when these two streams happen at the same time, like, on the same day, the topics that we're covering for Dumpfect Friday are gonna be way too big. Like, they take us too long.
Yeah. So, yeah, who needs sleep? No one needs sleep. What are you talking about? Nuh-uh. What is sleep? What is sleep?
For anybody who's here early, surprise, surprise, we're doing this one and then immediately jumping over to Landon and Debate Hub and doing volcano stuff.
Yep.
And there's been some updates. Particularly, I did leave all of the donation and like help links in the description. So if you do want to help out with the disaster that's going on over there, people can go find that.
Yeah. And please don't listen to conspiracy theories. They're bullshit.
They are.
Oh God.
It's true. I don't know why this thing is telling me that my audio bit rate is 0. It is definitely not. We are definitely talking. It's okay, it happens sometimes. It's because there's no audio for the 2-minute countdown timer. So hopefully like that works to let people know. I don't know. Oh well.
We shall see.
Hello.
Welcome back to Dumpfect Friday. Dumpfect Friday. Dumpfect Friday.
It's going to be fun.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Dumpfect Friday. Yeah.
Oh God.
You
What
alright?
was that?
We just started.
No.
You okay?
Am I alright? What do you mean?
So we're not gonna talk too much about ourselves and what's going on with us right now because we got a lot to cover. So we're gonna start off by jumping in. We have an order of events today. We are covering Andrew Tate and looking at some updates with that. Then we're going to talk about Danny Masterson. It's gonna be relatively brief. So if you do want more information about Danny Masterson, please go look at like Chris Shelton. He's been following it forever. It's like a Scientology dude's. If you don't know who Danny Masterson is by name, he played Hyde in that 70s show. He got loped into Scientology, and it's been downhill ever since. And so he just got arrested. And so we're going to look into that a little bit. We got an article to read through, but we'll breeze through that pretty quick. Shadiversity decided he wanted to write a book on Twitter, and it's really dumb, so we're going to talk about that real quick. It's not going to be terribly long. It's relatively short. So we got one long one with Andrew Tate and 2 short ones, and then we can look at a quick update with what happened with our featured dumb fuck from last Friday. Because John decided he's like, no, I'm not done being the dumbest person you've ever seen in your life. But wait, there's more.
He doubled down. Yeah.
He doubled down on the dumb. Oh my goodness. So
yeah, the mansplaining is strong in this one.
Oh, when is it not? When is it not?
God. It was funny, like, he came to your timeline on your tweet and tried to, like, talk down on you, and you were like, and everybody was like, dude, what do you think you're doing? Why? His
Alright,
ass
we'll get into that, but first... We have Google Docs that we're going to share with you guys. So I'm going to give you guys the tweet first, just so that way you guys have it. But I'm also going to give you the Google Doc link, just to give the guy credit for putting this together. There is, both those links are also in the tweet first. So for anybody who doesn't have Twitter, as you probably should not have Twitter at this point in time, because it's a piece of trash, there are the 2 Google Drives that we are looking at. Oh, this was somebody who goes by Guru. And he's got two links, but we're gonna focus on this one for now. The secondary link that we're not looking at is full of it's like a drive full of like
data,
video clips and like Tate telling on himself about what he was doing and stuff like that. And We know about that, so we're not going to cover that today too much, but we are going to go through some of this. So if you do want to see the rest of it, please feel free to go and dive into it a little bit harder on your own.
Yep.
So, meanwhile,
Where do we start?
Yeah, good question. So this is like research on the human trafficking case against the Tate brothers. What are the Tate brothers and Laura and Georgiana being charged with? We've already covered human trafficking law in Romania, so I don't think we need to go over that. We don't really need to go over how the investigation starts. So we are going to look at why what they're being charged with. We're going to skip that the brothers being in the investigation being in criminal action starting in December of 22nd, because we already know that. We are not going to look at their prosecuting information, because it's just Romanian law. If you do want to learn more about Romanian law, please feel free to go through and read this a little bit closer.
Yep.
We're going to look at are the Tate brothers solely accused of running a criminal gang? And we're going to look at what a couple of the transcripts from the WhatsApp, and we're going to look at the pertinent quotes from the judges.
Yep.
So let's get started.
Here we go.
These are also linking to the court documentation, but it's in Romanian, so I can't read it.
I will try and find. I know where I have the English, the translated one somewhere. So I'll find them and we can add them later, maybe in the comments or in the description. So I do have them. I do have the copy or like English copy, but I decided to put it somewhere where I can find it. Huh.
If you would like to try to do that for people, Feline, feel free. I'm not going to stop you. I'm sure people will enjoy it, and it might make a good exercise for you. I'm sure people would appreciate it. If that's something you want to do, go for it. All right, so what are they being charged for? Andrew Tate is being charged with constituting an organized criminal group, human trafficking in a continuous form for material acts and victims, and continued rape of 2 material acts against 1 victim. Tristan Tate is constituting an organized criminal group, human trafficking in a continuous form on 3 material acts / victims, and instigation to assault or other violence by Georgiana on one of the victims. Georgiana constituting an organized criminal group, human trafficking in a continuous form on 6 material acts / victims, assault or other violence, illegal access to a computer system, and illegal modification of computer data. And Luana is constituting an organized criminal group and human trafficking in a continuous form for 5 material acts / victims.
So I'll just insert in here. So the illegal modification, illegal access to a computer system and illegal modification of computer data. So that is like when either Andrew or Tristan or Georgiana. Yeah. So what they will do is they will use one of the like their victims' credentials to start an OnlyFans account, and then they would take over it. They would have the passwords, and they would have their bank accounts attached to that account. So anything that girl earned through that OnlyFans account would go straight into their pockets. The girl got nothing. So, and also, I think so. Georgiana has been charged with with porn distribution also, because they would go with revenge porn. They would threaten victims by showing them that they have access to their, all their pictures and stuff from OnlyFans and others platforms they have been, putting them on, and they threaten them that they will send all those to their people back home, or spread them around on the internet if they don't, comply. So. Yeah, and what else was in there? Continuous assault. Yeah, so Georgiana, she was literally the bottom bitch for these 2 guys, and she was the one who was who would assault.
She was the Janine Maxwell of the scenario.
Yeah. So if like the girls didn't comply with whatever Andrew or Tristan wanted, she was the one who was told to like beat the girls up, and sometimes she would do also, and because they didn't want to leave any bruises and stuff. So what they would do was that the girls would have like breast surgeries and stuff. So they would like raise their arms up so that the stitches would hurt. So that's how they like assaulted, and and then they also on some other victims they also proceeded to like beat them up and stuff. So this is what it is. And I think so that's why Tristan is being charged with instigation to assault or other violence by Georgie and on one of the victims. So that's what the connection is here. So yeah, just a little more detail around what exactly it is about.
Important, the DIICOT also opened a new in rem criminal investigation file into separate allegations of money laundering, surprise, surprise, favoring the perpetrator, influencing statements, witness tampering equivalent, additional human trafficking, and trafficking minors.
Trafficking minors.
Yeah. And so I'm just going to leave this on screen while we kind of chat a little bit so you guys can read through it if you want to. If you want to pause the video, please feel free. Again, we have covered this in previous Dump Fact Fridays, so also you can go look at those if you would rather have that read to you. There are rules for organized crime law. There are how the investigation starts, the criminal action and where it started, and that's all fine. Are the Tate brothers being solely accused of running a criminal gang to take money from women's TikTok accounts? Here are the screenshots of page 27 to 29 of the 86-page document that was released. It discusses why they are really charged with setting up an organized criminal group, and it wasn't just about TikTok. The second image discusses how one victim was manipulated into performing pornographic events and working on TikTok. So for RA-L, for committing the crimes of setting up an organized crime group, previous article, and this is just all references before it goes to the next highlighted area. Romania, together with the defendant TT and defendants NG-M and RA-L, so those are the different victims in this case that are remaining unnamed in the court document for the time being, which if they're going to be if they're going to be intimidating witnesses and tampering with stuff, then it makes sense that they would remain anonymous.
Yeah, they have already started with one of the victims who is a U.S. citizen, and they have filed a defamation lawsuit against the victim. But I think so they have bitten more than they can chew in that regard, because the victim is being backed by several NGOs, and they have good lawyers, and they have good funds to back her up in that case. So she is okay for now, but the vitriol that they have
that's also just them turning this more and more into an international case as if it didn't already have grounds, which I think is something I said at the beginning. There's also a in doing that, you are, because Andrew Tate fans are so vitriolic and just like a angry bunch of like goobers, like they're just sad, strange little men that are trying to be pro manipulators, they're of course going to be like weaponized by the Tate brothers against these people that are charging him. And so that's a whole other thing. Andrew has
done that in the past. There was one reporter who was very verbal against Andrew Tate, and he instigated his fans to go to his house. He doxed the reporter, and then his fans turned up at that guy's house to threaten him. So and that reporter decided to drop out of this whole scenario and story because they started getting threats and stuff, and people were actually physically stalking them now. So he is known to do this. But in this case, this isn't new. Here, the girl is protected till now. Let's see how far this goes. I really hope she wins the case, and Andrew ends up paying her for defamation or something like that, maybe, or for causing harm and stuff, or stress and duress, whatever. But so let's see what happens there. But so they are shitty people who weaponize fans.
So together with the defendants, constituted an organized criminal group in order to commit on the territory of Romania and on the territory of others like the United States and the UK, international. mainly on human trafficking crimes through recruitment actions of the victims carried out by, I'm just going to zoom this in a little more, carried out by the defendants T3EA and TT, and later, under their coordination through actions of sheltering and transporting the victims carried out through the involvement in the criminal activities of the said NG-M and RA-L. In order to obtain large sums of money by forcing the victims to perform pornographic events in order to produce and broadcast pornographic material using the website OnlyFans, in this sense, and by subjecting them to the execution of a job in a forced way using the website TikTok. So as you can see here, this isn't about whether or not these girls had TikTok accounts or whether they were making money on TikTok. It is that they were trafficking people to multiple countries to force them into porn, to force them into sexual acts. Sex trafficking.
Sex trafficking at international level, and you can see now they have victims from USA and UK. So I'm not going to be surprised if Romanian authorities and UK authorities and US authorities are not already working together, because we have money laundering also as part of this criminal organized gang. And so what Tristan and Andrew Tate are doing is they're giving some facts, but they are obscuring the whole picture. So they would use TikTok accounts to to channel traffic to their OnlyFans accounts of the girls, and that the main source of income was girls performing pornographic stuff on OnlyFans.
Right.
So TikTok was a way to channel audience, because it's a good TikTok has a good reach. So and so what they have done is, we took TikTok money from them. No, it's not just that. It's more than that. There's more than it. And I know that a lot of Tate fans, they are being willfully ignorant at this point now, and I have no sympathy for them. They can go and jump into a volcano for all I care. Not Madame Pele. You do not go land near Madame Pele. Go find someone at the volcano.
Between the end of January 2022 and February 2022, the defendant T.IIIEA, sorry, it's complicated because they're all anonymous names, through the Instagram application and following meetings in London in February 2022, UK recruited her by misrepresenting the intention to lay the foundations of a marriage/cohabitation relationship and the existence of false feelings on the injured person, UA, and in the period of March 1st to 2022 to April 11th, 2022. 2022? Together with the defendant NG-M, by exercising acts of physical violence and mental coercion resulting from actions of intimidation, surveillance, control, and invoking false debts, sheltered her in a building located in the city of redacted, country redacted, as well as in a building located in redacted complex, redacted, and transported her from the UK, London, to Romania and within the country redacted, together with the defendant NGM for the purpose sexual exploitation. Jesus Christ, with the help of RA-L, by forcing them to perform pornographic events in order to produce and broadcast pornographic materials using the website OnlyFans. In this sense, and subjecting them to forced labor using the sense of website TikTok. March 10th, 2022, to identify a number more than 1,000 followers. And then there's like a date at a hotel, redacted city, redacted, and coerced the injured person, UA, by exerting psychological and verbal pressure of the entire factual context in which he was to maintain normal and oral sexual relations with him and with the said P, I, and redacted date, location. So this is the thing. You're taking people under false pretenses to another country to force them into sexual labor.
Yep. And I'll kind of bring in the rhetoric that that Tate brothers have been trying to spew in this category or in this area. So they're trying to say, oh, they were nice to girls, and what was the other one?
very. They definitely seem like they were nice to girls. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Even if
Andrew Tate's
they,
been nothing but respectful to the women he's interacted with publicly. What do you mean?
What do you mean? He's never called
Andrew
women
Tate
dumb and
fans are
stupid.
the most gentlemanly chads.
Oh god, no. So, and they have also said that they've also said that how are adult women getting, manipulated? How can don't women know how to make decisions for themselves? That's another rhetoric that they come up with. And what was the last one, if I don't know? Yeah, is it bad to change your mind? Even if they like told them to come to Romania, that they are going to have a relationship, they simply change their mind with multiple women, right?
And then didn't let them leave. Weird.
Yeah, weird. And then some people were like, oh yeah, they made money. The girls never made money. They never got money. The Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, they got everything.
Even if they
Because
did make
they had-
money, so what? You're
Yeah,
still
it's
you're still forced labor, and you're still there
It's-
against your wishes, and they're still being forced to do it. So even if you got all of the money, if you can't use it, it's irrelevant. And if you're doing
Exactly.
something you're being forced to do, it's irrelevant.
Yep. So I will go one by one. It's not about that Andrew Tate was being nice to women. He was lying to them. He was lying to them that he's going to be in an exclusive relationship with that person, and then he would say, "Oh yeah, because I travel a lot and shit, and you're in another country, let's live together for a while as a couple and figure out, right?" And then with that, the victim would come in to the company. I saw that.
The only reason Andrew doesn't wear a fedora is because of his head corners.
Oh god, that's so true. Actually, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So if you watch us like laughing when we are reading some serious stuff like this, it's because
It's chat.
It's a dumb fake Friday, and the whole coping mechanism. Yeah, it's chat's fault.
It's you
one.
guys. This is your fault.
Yeah. And yeah, for dumb fake Friday, humor is a coping mechanism because you don't take responsibility for your
I don't feel bad about laughing at Andrew Tate being a piece of shit.
No.
I'm gonna laugh at Andrew Tate all goddamn day.
So
Loser.
yeah, so continuing.
At me.
Bitch. Oh, sorry. So
Milady.
lady. Oh god, no.
Continue with what you're trying to say. Sorry.
That's okay. So they would lie, and then they would say, okay, yeah, let's live together for a while. But then when the woman would land in Romania, they would say, oh, I'm traveling. Why don't you live with this chick for a while till I come back? And slowly and steadily, they surround that person with people that Andrew Tate controls himself.
Right.
Plus, what they will do is, we'll see later, what they do is they will start telling the girls that they know that someone's talking bad about them back home, like they were doing prostitution and all that stuff back home, and someone has told them about it, and then they would use that as an excuse to control the girls further, because then they will say, you're not going anywhere without me because I don't want you go whoring around, so like you did in the in your home country or the city you were living in before. So this is the level of control and isolation they exert on their victims. And so that one. And last, yes, they are adult women. They can look after themselves. Yes, they can. But when you lie to someone, the foundation of like trying to look after yourself is taken away from under your feet.
Abuse is a thing. Abuse towards adults is a thing. I don't care whether like abuse to the
Men
elderly,
get-
abuse to young, abuse to adults. The men get abused, women get abused by both, either, neither. Like people can abuse each other. Age is irrelevant
Yes.
to
Yes.
that being a fact.
Yep. And it's not like men don't get
because like
default,
at what
right?
age? At what age would it stop? It's like, okay, well, if you're a kid or you're an adolescent, you can be abused, and then there's like a wall there that like suddenly now you've had this birthday, therefore you can't be manipulated. What do they think? The irony of these people that are getting the shit scanned out of them by Andrew Tate, saying like, oh, well, they can just make decisions and not get scammed or be abused as they're being manipulated and taken advantage of, like, completely.
Yeah, while they're getting taken advantage of, while, giving money to Andrew Tate.
Right.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Conversation transcripts. Sorry, are you good?
Yeah, okay, cool.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
I'm done.
Oh, okay. Conversation transcripts, source, it's 10th January court appeals hearing document. They're transcripts that the judge deemed relevant to establishing a reasonable suspicion the defendants committed the crime of human trafficking. So we're going to skip
suspicion.
Yes. So we're going to skip a bunch of these and we're going to look at the highlighted ones.
So,
hello. Welcome.
Hello. So the rhetoric that Andrew and his fans are trying to put out is the judge found the evidence weak, so they were released, and therefore there's no case anymore. That's not true. So according to Romanian laws, you can keep someone under house arrest for so much long. After that, they have to either go to you can keep them in prison for so long, and then after that you have to exercise other means of restrictions.
I think it's 60 days.
No, 6. They were in 6 months.
It's 30, and then they got 6 months.
6 months in prison, 6 months maximum, and after that, I think so, house arrest, extended. and then controlled movement. So what's happening right now is Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate's lawyers have promised, you can say, or committed to the judge that they're not going to flee the country. That's why they have been allowed out of house arrest. So they can, and they are not to go outside Bucharest. They cannot go outside Bucharest. That's the city where the die court is and everything. So they can't go out of there, and they have to report to the local police at regular intervals. So for people trying to say that the case is over or they have been released, it's done, dusted, it's not like that. The judge in front of whom the evidence goes only at this time is only deciding whether the evidence was obtained legally or not. That's what they're deciding. And only the indictment has been approved. That's what is happening at the moment. No decision has been made by whether they are guilty or not. As we read previously, they have established a reasonable suspicion based on the evidence that they have committed a crime. So that's what's happening. But apart from that, there's no judgment out there about this case yet. The trial has still to happen. So any of the Tate fans trying to like put out this fucking dirty rhetoric like they are free and the judge released them because the evidence was not enough. No. Yeah, your willful ignorance shouldn't be other people's problem, but stop lying. You look stupid. You look stupid. So just clarifying.
You
couple
lie!
Of things there.
You lie!
Godless Scummer for 2 said, pay my fine to Chesh for that Twitter thread. Oh, we'll get to that. We're going back into back into that one for a little bit.
Boy.
So if you were reading some of this while Manya was talking, it's basically him establishing a relationship with a woman to bring her back to Romania, and that like I'm gonna keep an eye on you so we can be together. Can you be my be enough? Can you be loving enough to be my wife? Yada yada yada.
Wife.
And then when we get to the I'm committing to you, that's my girl. Can I trust you? Yes, you can. You're moving to Romania with me. I might need to go to Prague.
Yeah.
Serious about Andrew saying he's serious about marriage.
Marriage.
Yeah. You're not stupid. You probably guess how I make so much money. I have to hide what I do in reality. Webcam, the girl webcam. I've been doing this for a long time with a team of girls who are working on video chat. The company was fake. Yes, but this is how I washed my dirty money. After that, men started getting jealous and started asking me how they can start a video chat business. They will never do that because they are losers. You know, all the people he gets to pay him.
Yeah, so...
This is what Andrew Tate thinks of his audience.
Yeah. And we covered it last time also, this whole same transcript. So he's promising them marriage. He's promising them that they're going to be his wife. As far as I know, in Romania, you can't have polygamy. You only have
he's also admitting to laundering money. He is also admitting to running shit that's not legal.
Yep. And also there's I think so we'll put that interview in the description. There's a latest interview where he is bragging that the reason he's being targeted is because he's very open about his wealth and where he gets it from. No. It's not
flexing
that.
and bragging about wealth is new. Nobody's ever done that before. So that's why the authorities are going to get involved.
Yeah. And he goes around like saying, what about the others who do the same thing? Like, bitch, you are the focus of attention at the moment, so bear it. Fuck it. So it's, the transcripts are, and there are multiple victims. This is just one of them. And so what people have tried to put out another rhetoric. Sorry, Shesh, I'm just taking over. So there are
I'm watching chat because I'm pretty sure we looked into his dad being a chess grandmaster, and that was bullshit too. He was a master in his area, but he was never a grandmaster.
Yeah. And also both Andrew and Tristan Tate were shit MMA fighters. That's also established. You can find the fights on
and they're also
YouTube
real bad at chess because we looked at the pictures they were posting of chess and they had the chessboard set up wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah, talk about being women being stupid, right, and dumb, yeah. So in total there are 7 victims, and what another rhetoric that Andrew Tate fans are trying to put out is, 2 of the 7 victims are saying that they are not the victims, and for that, it doesn't matter. It happened. Trafficking happened. They were trafficked, and there's something called Stockholm Syndrome, and if you go to the UN website, you can find that how Stockholm Syndrome works in human sex trafficking, where trauma bonding works. So to say that it's okay that those 2 girls' charges should be dropped because they're saying they're not the victims, that's not how it works.
That's not how that works.
So
the crime is the crime whether they involve themselves or not. If they're sex trafficking, that's just not how that works.
Yeah. That's why in a lot of countries...
that might work in like a rape charge, right? If the victim of a rape charge is saying I was not raped, then that would be good. That would be good enough because it's a 1-to-1 thing. But it relies on the victim making that charge. That doesn't apply to sex trafficking because it is and criminal organization. That's not how that works. So just to clarify here, what Andrew was saying is men started getting jealous and started asking me how they can start a video chat business. They will never do that because they are losers, but they like the idea, so I started charging men to teach them. That's what those videos are about. It's all a cover.
Oh, wow.
Well, really, what's it a cover for?
So the war room and all that bullshit, it's a cover. And I, from time to time, do retweet a lot of people who are still on Twitter.
I mean, we also know that this is bullshit, too, because if you look at Andrew Tate's history, you can see exactly like him getting kicked off of reality TV shows. You can see him going on literally everything he can to try to sell this idea initially. It wasn't people got jealous. It was that he pushed this idea to make money.
Yeah, and people are like, what the fuck, dude? Stay away from us. So what was I saying? I was saying something, right? And then I stopped. Whatever. It will come back to me. So a lot of war room members are still on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And so interesting how it's going to turn out. Yeah.
To quote the guys on the Underworld podcast, don't Instagram your crimes. Yeah. So now it goes even deeper. Some of the girls who worked for me, I used them to do other things, to move money or illegal things, documents. I will never do that to you, but I need those girls for work. Sometimes money-related things. If you know the girls, I want you to be very cool with them, friendly. You're on my team to help me. You don't need details about any of this. What I want is for you to trust me and do as I say, and I will always take care of you. Nothing bad will happen, but you have to be on my side.
Nothing bad will happen, and you don't need to know the details while I'm giving you the details of like how I wash my like dirty money. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Same woman, presumably, because it's still AU. Baby, what are these girls doing? I feel bad that I don't know. I should know so I can talk to them and not say something stupid or offend them in any way. OnlyFans. So they undress and stuff or something else? No, just bikini and lingerie. They have a live show on TikTok, which makes a lot of money. And then why do they need to work for G? They could do that on their own. They can't, not properly, not at the top level. They have big teams behind them. That advertise them, work on them 24/7, etc. Those girls make a lot of money. It's not amateurish. Next transcript. What are you doing? Yeah, yes, go out, but only with someone else, not alone. I'm still working. I'm trying to get home as fast as I can. Married women don't go out alone.
Who the fuck said that? Who the fuck established that rule? And you know, it's very interesting. When was it Piers Morgan? Piers Morgan. He interviewed Andrew Tate. He was like, "What do you mean by that? Men should have authority over women," and he reamed him for it. He stuck to the thing. You should watch that segment. It's very interesting. And how Andrew Tate started from, "Oh, I need to control where she goes and stuff." You know, Andrew Tate tried to like put it out as like, "Oh, okay, someone has to have wear the pants in the relationship," but Piers Morgan stuck to the point and said that, but that's still like you're controlling someone. That's still authority on that person. And authority is that you they don't have a choice, but you are saying that you want to give them a choice. So which is it? So that back and forth is very fascinating. And Zig said that his dad is dope. Tate won World MMA.
Don't worry about it. Keep on the topic. They're talking about something else in the chat. You're good.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. So yeah,
they're just talking about the history a little bit.
Where was I? God damn it! I need.
See, this is why. Stay on topic, Manya.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, you should see if Piers Morgan is like starting to like get like holding. If Piers Morgan can hold Andrew Tate accountable, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson could have done that very easily, but they refused to do it. So shame on them.
We might go to the Botanic Garden tomorrow with the girls from Ukraine. Who is we? Also, it's Women's Day. Who is we? Me and them, the two girls. No, you go with B, Jasmine, or Geo. I don't trust those Ukrainian girls. You're not going anywhere without one of those three. Why are you so cold with me? No. This is a couple days later. Actually, this is a month later. Sorry. Why are you so cold with me? No, going out alone without telling me. Mall, supermarket, nowhere from now on. I told you I don't want to go alone. This is your last warning.
Your last warning.
Which means there were warnings before.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of.
There's lots. There's tons of transcripts. I'm just looking at the highlighted stuff.
Yeah.
I did well financially. I have 4 more hours of live. You decide. Yes, and then I'm the one who's blamed for not making money, even though you work hard for us. Luana. We split on OnlyFans. G takes O. I take you. Maybe you don't listen. I'll kill you if we don't make money. If we don't make money. Georgiana, I'll punch you in the mouth until I arrive, and then I'll give you another 10, you lazy, incurable bastard. I'll tear you apart when I get there. What did I do? This is, so we're on, like, what we've got here is we've got girl 1, girl 2, and so I'll just say Luana and Georgina and Victim for now.
Yeah.
Isamina, I think is how you pronounce her name?
Lesmina.
Oh, no, that's not an L, that's an I.
Oh. Yasmina.
Capitalized. Oh, Yasmina?
Yeah.
Yasmina? Okay.
Yasmina, yeah.
Yasmina. Alright, now that I know how to pronounce it. You have an hour and 10 minutes to disappear. Disappear. But what did I do? It's more like what you didn't do yesterday for an hour. You have a 20% deduction. It's been 4 days since you last posted. I'm waiting for yesterday's money. If Andrew looks to see if you posted TikToks, you won't even have time to pack. I guarantee you'll fly from the balcony directly.
Holy shit. Oh yeah, the girls were like willfully doing everything. Yeah, right. And just cause the girl didn't stream for another hour, she's been told she will be thrown off the balcony if she doesn't start doing it. So yeah, so Georgina was one of those ladies or the bottom bitches of Andrew Tate who would.
Where's my dinner?
Oh god.
Baby, don't talk like that, please. You know I want to make you dinner. Just wait until I get to you. Slave, please, belt. Do you want me to be your slave or your wife? You do whatever I tell you, which is the same thing. If I choose a woman to be my wife, she will love me enough to let me do as I please. I will decide if she is a slave. She doesn't make the rules. I am the man. I don't listen to complaints from women. Just trust me and shut up. Don't annoy me again today. It doesn't matter if I call you a slave. What matters is that I can do it if I want to without you being stupid. There's enough stupid women. If I want to choose, I have 10,000 options to choose from. You have to accept that you are mine forever, no matter what I do. And if you want me to treat you nicer, you will convince me with tenderness.
This is not someone changing their mind about a relationship. This is someone doubling down and actually taking someone's rights away in that relationship.
But guys, he won MMA fights.
Yeah, and that also is another thing, right? The girls know that he was a former MMA fighter. That's also another way of like imposing, like, intimidation. Just saying.
So there's like a lot more there if you want to read it again. It'll be linked more in the description down below. I did post it in the side chat, so if you are interested, it'll be there. Pertinent quotes from judges in this case. In assessing the maintenance of the concrete danger for public order that the investigation of the defendants at large would present at this stage of the what word is that?
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to read it?
What word is this?
Procedure.
Brain, hello? My brain just stopped. I was like, why is my brain was reading that C as a cuss sound, and I was like, huh? That's not a word. Procedure. Thank you, English as second language lady.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Is it necessary to have in mind? It is necessary to have in mind, given the particularities of the present case, namely the nature and seriousness of the acts alleged to have been committed by the defendant. This is related to the well-structured nature of the group in question, each member having a clearly established role, the diversity and multiplicity of material evidence in the case of each crime, their transitional character, the long time span in which they were executed, the large number of victims, the consequences produced consisting of the damages caused to each injured person mentioned in the factual situation by committing the crimes of rape and human trafficking, the sum of money obtained from each serious crime, the fact that the defendant showed criminal persistence by committing the alleged acts. The judge of rights and liberties thus appreciates that the investigation in a state of freedom or by ordering a less intrusive restrictive measure, judicial control, without custodial character would be able to induce at the level of the defendant's perception the idea of a form of justified conduct which would lead to the possibility of their new involvement in committing similar acts.
So, for all the Andrew Tate fans out there, for who this is too complex to process, I'll tell you what it's saying in brief. So, they're saying that the criminal gang had a good had a perception. The criminal gang had an established structure like any organization has. Okay, and then each member had their own role to commit or to perform. For example, Georgina, she would hand out punishments and threats when needed. So, and also they're saying that it kind of shows what their character is because they kept doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
They kept doing it for a long time, and there were multiple victims. It's not like they didn't know what they were doing. Like sometimes people trying
There's
to
nothing
justify
in this saying that the only victims that are there are the ones that are testifying and that are showing in the
There are
documentation
multiple,
thus far.
large number of victims.
Yeah.
So, and also by committing, so so it's saying the consequences produced consisting of damage caused to each injured person mentioned in factual situation by committing the crimes of rape and human trafficking. So that's been established that it happened. So you cannot deny that fact that rape happened and human trafficking happened. You cannot deny that. So stop it.
This is from this was the judge deliberating on the 21st of April when they were talking about the extending house arrest. Yeah, that was the statement.
So what they're saying, what they're saying is that what Andrew and Tristan have done in the past, themselves, and by using other people, so they have the capability of doing it again. So that's why their arrest is being extended. That's what it is, in short. And they're still under judicial control, which means that they cannot go out of Bucharest, and they have to report to the local police.
I've been requested to sing the comment. I'm Andrew Tate. I'm #1. Going to Muslim hell for what I've done.
Oh God. That's also another thing that I'm so miffed about. My Muslim friends out there, what the fuck were you thinking when you welcomed this guy with open arms? What the fuck were you thinking?
This one's from May 9th, deliberating about extending the house arrest again. Sorry, May 19th. Quote, thus the judge of rights and liberties finds that in the case, with regards to the two defendants, redacted and redacted, the conditions provided by Article 223, Paragraph 1, lit A, B, and C, and Paragraph 2, C, blah, 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 reference. Since from the evidence administered up to this point in the case, there are enough elements to convince an objective observer that it is possible that the defendants have committed these acts for which they are being investigated, and the defendants present a concrete danger to public order. There are also data that he would have made preparations to evade the criminal investigation by leaving Romania, that he would have tried to influence the witnesses and exert pressure on the injured persons.
This is the judge, and all those people are saying, oh, he didn't find enough evidence. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yes.
And and then I will just make one more clarification. If you think that the grammar is wrong, the English grammar is translated wrong in this article. Yeah, it's been translated. So, and it has gone through actually multiple translations. So it started from Romanian, and then it went to English, and then back to Romanian, blah, 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 blah. So, so don't mind the grammatical mistakes. And if someone tries to say, oh, this document is not legit because it has grammatical mistakes, just tell them, like, it's been translated, so that's why it looks like that. So,
yeah.
All right.
So that was the... Let me just zoom these in a little bit. There we go. So these are pictures from the war room. This is like the whole like shebang of Andrew Tate and shit getting things bang boom together. We're gonna look at a couple of these about kind of what Andrew Tate was saying and teaching other people to do. So Tate said, I've flown one of my girls to go live with my other girlfriend, and I'm not even there. Wow. That's almost like the
top G.
It's almost like this corroborates some of the things that have been produced. Tribune, if we had a reliable guy in the war room that gets driver's licenses and keeps your information safe, if only. Look, I'd need a Colombian license either way if I'm going to stay here longer than 3 months. So, story, I met and fucked a girl same night when I was in Romania for one day 2 weeks ago. Remember what I said when I'm going away, I go harder on my hoes?
Oh, wow.
If
Definitely
you're typing and not Tate right now, you're wrong. Rather lose them or make them slaves in my absence. I've explained it here with the last screenshots. Wow. Told her she had to move to Bucharest. 7-hour drive away from her hometown and wait for me. She asked where she would and said she would be lonely, and I said... And I said, no, she will live with some other girls who work for Georgiana.
There we go.
She said no. I said she wasn't serious. She agreed. Packed and moved in. So yeah, he's abusing her. FDB.
Oh, God.
She agreed, packed and moved in with my other girlfriend, but then the new girl started talking tons of shit about me and her being in love, blah, blah, after one day. Oh, you mean you said
you lied
this
to her?
And you lied to her?
And that's why she repeated it? Oh my God. So I told her to shut up. Nani the fuck?
And annoying the girlfriend she moved in with, so I told her to shut up. That's my new girl. And then if we kind of zoom in on this, we can see a little bit. It says, Jasmine, listen, those girls you're with, don't talk about me or us, or what we do or anything. Don't mention me. Just got home, went on a long walk with the dogs. Don't talk to them about me. Okay, why do I feel you're a bit upset? Did something happen with work? You better understand you're here to stay and do as you're told. If you're not taking us seriously, say so now. At me? Are you seriously saying that? Okay, fine. So what did I do wrong then? Because the only thing I've been doing all day is walking dogs, go and do groceries, shopping, and make food. Oh, hey. Never mind. Why was I trying so hard?
Oh God, bitch. I should have told you. Oh God, shit. Sorry, my bad.
You did this to me.
Sorry.
Well, anyway, I read it already. I am, for Christ's sakes. If I'm not, I wouldn't come all the way here. I came for you, Andrew, and you still can't see that. You're pissing me off. Stop replying, rude. I'm sorry, I'm just exhausted and stressed over my head, and I miss you, and I want you. Food. Babe, I'm really sorry I pissed you off. I really didn't mean to. Talk to me correctly when I ask something. This is your final warning. Yes, promise, miss you. We'll have to go to the gas station to buy cigarettes, okay, babe? Question mark. Just a 30 minutes to walk and Red Bull. Stop that. But I'm sad and I feel bad for pissing you off. I see that you don't want to talk to me. You didn't say you miss me too. It's important that we talk about these things together so we can figure it out. The only thing I'm asking for is being patient. I'm still learning, and I really want to be the woman you wish and to desire. I want to give you everything you need and be all yours. I want to give you all of my love, blah, 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 blah. This is all I have to say. This is how I framed it with the girlfriend she was moving in with. Told the girl she was moving in with I only want this new girl for Cam. I don't trust her. I need her to watch her.
Oh, wow.
Now Betty, my original girlfriend, feels tasked to keep an eye on this new girl who is just for Cam. Task the bottom bitch as a spy. New girl thinks Betty is someone who is loosely linked to me and Gio. I think that's Georgiana. She knows I fucked her, but not much else.
So he's manipulating two women at the same time while lying to both of them.
Yeah.
And oh God! And for
and
people
then there's
to
the
justify
screenshots,
this,
and he's showing this to other men to teach them how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna go through the messages.
Yeah.
There's the other. Here we go. And then this is Tate explaining in his own words how he's trafficking people. They're both spying on each other and both reporting to me, laughing emoji, sharing a bed, and when I get home, I'll just fuck them both and make them work. Easy. I haven't even seen Betty since before Miami, and I saw the other girl one time only, and she's moved into the house so I can to do OnlyFans and cam. I always wanted to go hard on weak leads, hoes, when I'm away. If you're away for a long period of time, you will lose them anyway, so why not play the queen sacrifice? Chess analogy, ew. There's the other screenshot. Go hard prob won't work, but if it doesn't, they're gonna leave anyway. No way I'd keep a girl I saw once for 3 months without seeing her again, and so had to go militant, make her ass move in with another girl, etc., etc. With my last screenshots, I explained why I go so hard on hoes while away, and if it doesn't work, you cement a good position. Or if it does work, you cement a good position. So here's the thing. He knows that he doesn't care about these women going in. He thinks that they're going to leave anyway, so he basically makes a gamble to put them into a position where he's manipulating and controlling the entirety of the situation and playing the two girls against each other so he can abuse them sexually and make money off of them. Ta-da! And that's our Andrew Tate updates.
Yeah, so the links we have provided, there are a lot more chats, and I'll just add in one of the chats, he's telling guys how to isolate the victim from her support network back home. So they are teaching this to each other. Yeah. So that's why it's an organized thing.
Well, that's one of the reasons why it's organized. Yeah.
Yeah, organized. And it's not like it's had never happened that like sex traffickers have like, communicated over text apps before.
Oh, sure.
It's never happened. Like so yeah. Go for it, read those, and if people are saying that they're fake or AI or something like that, they're from direct source. There's a source out there that has put them out. That's what happens when people realize that someone's been full of shit.
Yep.
Don't mess with people's money.
Yeah, those the War Room screenshots are coming from somebody who got disenfranchised, like who was part of it and who got disenfranchised and kind of figured out a little bit more what was going on and is just feeding information out into the public now. So that's our Andrew Tate stuff. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and then we'll cover a little bit of Danny Masterson, and we're going to bing bang boom our way through a couple more things. So we will be back in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah.
Your body's being so shit. So yeah, we're back. Hi, it's just me. It's just me. It's just me here. Hi, hello. Welcome. I hope you've been having a good time. We covered Andrew Tate. Now we're going to move into Danny Masterson, and then we're going to move into Shadiversity, and then we're going to move on to John if we have time. If we don't have time for John, we'll come back to him at a later date. But the next couple of things are not terribly, terribly long. Links will be in the description for everything that we look at. But I am going to get started on Danny Masterson because I know that Manya can hear me, so I'm not too worried. She'll catch up. So, here we have... Oh, sorry, I put that on the wrong thing. There we go. Here we have Danny Masterson sentenced to 30 years in prison. That 70s show actor blew his weeping wife a kiss as he was led away. Ew. We'll get to that. That's gross in a minute.
Okay.
Actor Danny Masterson will spend 30 years behind bars on charges he raped 2 women at his posh Hollywood home 2 decades ago. Crimes that occurred when he was a starring cast member on That 70s Show. Masterson was stoic as Judge Charlene? I don't know how to pronounce that last name, announced his fate, telling him, quote, "You are not the victim here. Your actions 20 years ago took another person's voice and choice. Your actions 20 years ago were criminal, and that is why you're here." She doled out the maximum penalty. He blew a kiss He blew a kiss to his weeping wife, model, singer, and actor, Mijo Phillips, as he was led away and waved to his siblings, quote, Walking Dead actor, The Walking Dead actor Alana Masterson, Malcolm in the Middle star Christopher Masterson, and Jordan Masterson, who huddled together in a tightly packed courtroom. Outside the courtroom, outspoke former Scientologist Leah Remini embraced the victims who walked out of the courthouse hand in hand. Yeah, she's on podcasts, has been working really, really hard against some Scientology shit. In a heart-wrenching 3-hour-plus sentencing hearing, the judge listened to victims' impact statements from Masterson's accusers, not only about the trauma of their rapes, but the intimidation and harassment they say they suffered at the direction of the Church of Scientology. So there was a lot of issues around this case in that the Church of Scientology was getting in the way of what was going on and what is and is not considered abuse and what is and is not considered part of, like, their religious rights, if they're allowed to practice their religion. And, like, how abusive Scientology is within, like, trying to use that as a heading. Masterson watched from the defense table, flanked by his attorneys, Philip Cohen and Sean Hawley. A seat he has occupied for 2 separate trials, one that ended in a hung jury last November, which we talked about briefly, and then again for a 2-week trial that led to his conviction in May, where the jury found him guilty of raping 2 of his 3 accusers. The jury hung on the 3rd forcible rape charge involving his longtime live-in girlfriend, Christine B. Quote, "When you raped me, you stole from me," said N. Trout, one of the 2 women Masterson was convicted of raping in 2003. "That's what rape is, the theft of the spirit." The second accuser, Jen B., said she was grateful to be able to be heard in a system of justice outside of the insular world that exists within the Church of Scientology. Quote, "This is a real court," she told the court, "not the celebrity center." All 3 accusers. Yeah, she nailed them to the wall.
Like,
all 3 accusers are former Scientologists who claim the church covered up the allegations because Masters was a prominent Scientologist. On Thursday, Los Angeles County Prosecutor Reinhold Mueller would, quote, "not confirm nor deny that there is a separate investigation into whether or not the church obstructed justice, a charge that Scientologist spokeswoman staunchly denied." That's actually really huge. That's kind of really huge. The Los Angeles prosecutor not confirming nor denying that there is a separate investigation into the Church of Scientology obstructing justice. Fucking good.
Yeah, about time. I don't know how many people they have denied justice.
Well, and it takes a celebrity court, right? Like, if it wasn't Danny Masterson and people were interested in him because he's a well-known actor, he's, like, at least a B-lister. And, like, would anybody care? Or, like, Tom Cruise is a pretty, like, high-profile dude in Scientology, so, like, what's he fucking up to? And, like, how many unnamed people that people would recognize are doing what if, like, you know what I mean?
Church of Scientology has been known to isolate their members from their families, just like any other cult. So,
yes.
Yeah.
He got 30 years to life.
Damn good. Fuck yeah.
An ongoing civil suit filed by Masterson's accusers ticked off a list of intimidation tactics, including the poisoning of one woman's dog. They claimed they suffered after coming forward at the hands of the Church of Scientology officials. Quote, there is not a scintilla?
Scintilla, yeah.
What does that mean?
We'll have to find out.
Tiny trace or spark of specified quality or feeling. A scintilla of doubt.
Gotcha.
So there is there is not a tiny trace of doubt or a tiny trace of evidence supporting the scandalous allegations that the church harassed the accusers, wrote the spokeswoman Karen.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. The judge presiding over this case is loopy, right? Yeah, she didn't see any evidence and she just like got it out like out of thin air, everything, the judgment and everything. Yeah.
Fake news, made up. It's not real. Fabricated.
Fabricated, yeah.
However, the judge made note of a $1 million payment Masterson made to one of his accusers after making her sign a non-disclosure agreement, an amount she called an awful lot to pay to someone who's lying about an incident.
Oh, wow, that's so... Oh my god, I'm loving this judge already. Oh my god.
Masterson's attorney vowed to appeal the sentence, saying that the appellate lawyers are already evaluating what famed defense lawyer Sean Hawley calls, quote, significant evidentiary and constitutional issues that raise serious questions about the jury's guilty finding. Mr. Masterson did not commit the crimes, Hawley said. Danny Masterson's acting career exploded when he played Stephen Hyde on That 70s Show from 1998 to 2006. California does not have a statute of limitations for sexual assault cases, and the LAPD arrested Masterson in June 2020 after a 3-year investigation. They investigated for 3 years, brought it in June of 2020, and it's just like, nah, fake news.
And also, like, it's interesting that California does not have a statute of limitations for sexual assault cases, which I think is good. I personally think it's good, like, because a lot of victims take a lot of time to heal and come forward, so, yeah.
Well, there's also the issue of things that were happening and victims had access to in the 90s is not the same as what people have access to in 2023. So, I mean, we'll see. Mm-hmm. I don't have an opinion about statute limitations, I just don't.
Yeah, I think it's good.
I have too small brain for stuff like that. The sentence marked on an explosive end to a 6-year Hollywood ordeal that led to 2 trials, one that ended in a deadlock jury with the jurors hearing testimony about both the #MeToo movement and the shadier side of the Church of Scientology. In Masterson's first trial, which ended in a hung jury last November, the testimony about Scientology was limited. In the second 2, and that was something that people were not impressed with. They were like, this is such an important part of this case. Why is this being left out? In the second 2-week trial this spring, jurors heard disturbing testimony about the church's response to women's allegations. Christine B. didn't report Masterson until 2017 when she filed a report in Texas with the Austin Police Department, who contacted the LAPD. She explained the delay by saying she first reported Masterson's violence to the church in 2002, but a Scientologist ethics officer urged her not to go to the police and warned her that if she did, she would become a suppressive person or excommunicated from her church. Prosecutors said that in their opening arguments. If you want to know more about like what a suppressive person means from like Scientology, because that's Scientology jargon, that's like the cult jargon to say that this person is now like an enemy of the church, and they need to be like not just excommunicated, they need to be limited and away from all of their family members and everything that they have, and that they are now considered like a direct enemy, which will lead to things like harassment and stuff outside of the church, etc., etc. If you want more about that, please go look at Chris Shelton's channel. He covers this fantastically, and he's far better if you want more information. Right. The Scientology leader told her, prosecutors explained to the jury in Masterson's trial this spring that, quote, when you're in a relationship with somebody, as you are Christina, it's not rape, don't use that word.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yep.
Oh god.
Yep.
Oh god.
Jen B went to the LAPD
yeah.
in 2004, a year after she said she was drugged and attacked, despite having been told by a different Scientologist ethics officer that she would need to review the consequences of reporting Masterson. Prosecutors say which could include ramifications for her father, who was a well-respected church official.
Oh, so this is generational now. Oh, fuck my life.
Yep. The same day she made the report to the Hollywood Division prosecutor, saying the ethics officer who warned her not to go to the police called her to complain that she had not only reported Masterson but also gave his name as someone she confided in. He said, "I just got a call from the police officers at the Hollywood police station. You are so fucked. You are so fucked," prosecutors told the jury. N. Trout told an LAPD detective, "The three women connected on social media, quote, and started flooding each other with our stories. In December of 2016, which Masterson's attorney argued unsuccessfully, amounted to contamination of the case against his client. The LAPD opened its investigation of June of 2017 after being contacted by the Austin police." Masterson's accusers have received an outpouring of support. Ramini released a statement on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. I love that everybody is calling it X, formerly known as Twitter, because nobody knows what the fuck. X has no brand recognition. Nobody's gonna know what the fuck people are talking about.
Yep.
That is how to not do a brand change, by the way. Thursday, applauding the sentence. Quote, "Sitting in court today with the women who survived Danny Masterson's predation was a surreal experience. Over the last 7 decades, former Scientologists have sadly become used to Scientology, using its financial resources, religious protection, and relationships to snatch justice away from them," she wrote. Hearing the survivors read their victims' impact statements aloud in court, well, the man who raped them and some of the very Scientologists who terrorized them over 2 decades were just a few feet away displayed a level of bravery that I'm in awe of.
Wow. I'm loving this judge.
There's
this judge.
Yeah, there's the long and short of it. So if you're interested in the Danny Masterson trial and Scientology, again, please go watch Chris Shelton. I just wanted to briefly give you guys like a summation here, so you kind of knew what, because I had mentioned it before. I just wanted to give you guys the update about what is going on. I am curious to see how this may or may not affect Scientology in the future, and like what's gonna happen.
I think so. It has to take that someone, because Masterson, I don't know if he was one of the like the heads or not, but it has to be like
prominent.
2 or 3 heads.
Yeah.
2 or 3 heads or main members or main whatever, the founding people or something like that to be held accountable. I think so. Then only it will have any future effects, because right now, the only thing that happening is if victims come forward, only then they are getting justice. And yeah, so
interesting question in the chat is Tom Cruise involved somehow? So, that's an interesting question, specifically because Scientology is so like grouped together and so tight knit, and Tom Cruise is such a prominent figure and very high end in Scientology. It'd be hard to say that he's not involved in some capacity, but how much plausible deniability he has versus how much direct or indirect, like that would be a very big investigation, and it would be very hard to determine. It'd be very hard to prove or determine, like, without a shadow of a doubt, that he had any direct or even indirect involvement because of how tight. It's
possible that he. I think so. It's most possible that he was aware of something similar happening. Like there was something happening like that.
It's so prevalent throughout the church, and he is such like such a big figure in it that there's, and the church exudes so much control over its members. It's also possible to say that like it's likely that he didn't have a whole lot to know about a lot of the goings on, because this was just day-to-day fanfare. So he would know in like this is a thing that happens in the church, but he wouldn't know directly about this specific individual. So at least as far as I know, if you want to talk more about that, or you want to find out from somebody who knows a lot more than I do about it, please go to Chris Shelton's channel and go talk to him about it, because he'll be far better at answering that kind of a question. So it kind of depends on what you mean by involved, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that was all from this. Next up, ha 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 ha. Stupid Shadiversity shit.
Oh God, this guy. Oof.
This is just dumb. And I only brought this up because we talked about him recently, about his recent flip out about the Barbie movie, because he's big mad.
Oh, yeah.
So now he's also big mad because trans people exist.
Oh God.
Alright.
Yeah, my presence on this planet is threatened by presence of another individual. Great.
So, displaying gender pronouns or calling people their preferred pronoun is not about being polite for me and many other people, and this includes being forced to participate through employment, media, and video games. That's a sentence. Almost.
What the fuck? And English is my second language. It's not about being polite for me and many other people. This includes being... Oh, I think so what he says is that it's not about being polite. It's about being forced to participate into, being polite to other genders.
Why are you trying to translate
through
this?
Employment,
This isn't even
media, and video games.
Bonnie, it's not a complete sentence.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I know it's not.
He doesn't
Dude,
go...
English.
It's okay, you put the other half of the sentence in another paragraph. It's a demand that I deny my faith, my beliefs, and my own identity to affirm the identity of strangers, most of them that hate me, all for the purpose of being polite because of the feelings of people who do not care about my feelings and how offensive this demand is to me based on my core fundamental beliefs and, yes, identity.
Hold on a minute.
You gonna break that down? You gonna break that down for us?
Okay. How is like an extra set of pronouns in a game, denying your faith and beliefs? If you select your preferred pronouns...
He is gonna try and explain that. that. Yeah.
Okay.
He puts a solid effort into this. It's almost like he tried to get like a synapse to fire.
This is solid?
It's an attempt. Here's the thing, though, with my first bit of this. Other people having pronouns, and they're strangers to you, there's no reason for you to refer to them. Because they are strangers to you. So you would not be at a familiar enough level to be using pronouns for them.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be strangers that you're not interacting with. And so if you're not interacting with them, it has nothing to do with you at all.
Yeah.
If you are interacting with them and you hate them that much, stop interacting with them.
Yeah. And if you're in a place of work where you have to work with them, sorry boss, you signed the agreement when you accepted that job. So you gotta play by the company's rules. It is what it is. Capitalism exists, my guy. So yeah, what are you whining about?
I identify as a man, not based on my feelings or mental health, but because of my biology and sex. Sir? Sir, your feelings and mental health are biology.
Right? God.
The very act of assuming I need to let others know my gender pronouns is only necessary upon the false beliefs that there are more than two genders, that gender is not obvious to know based on how nearly all people look, 3, that I might think I'm a different gender than how I appear, period. Sorry, that should end there.
Yeah. Full stop.
Okay, so these are the 3 things, right? So,
yeah.
God, I have to kind of fix the grammar a little bit in my brain while I'm reading it, so that way, like, it makes sense. So, here's the thing. Number 2, he's already backtracked on within its own thing, right? So, it says, gender is not obvious to know based on how nearly all people look. That's a false thing. So if that's false,
Yeah.
then it should be obvious, right? That's what he's saying. So if he's saying that it's a false belief that there are more than two genders, then that means inherently that he's saying that there are only two genders.
Mm-hmm.
2, that gender is not obvious to know based on how nearly all people look, meaning that you should be able to, that gender should be obvious based on how all people look.
Yeah.
And that I might think I am a different gender to how I appear. Meaning that you cannot think, or you do not think you are a different gender than how you appear.
I'll just give him one example of like where his like second point just goes moot. Has anybody heard of ladyboys? Yep.
The return of the Y boner.
Yep. So yeah, and our drag queens.
Yeah.
Girls who dress as tomboys.
Tomboys.
You know, I don't know what dressing as tomboy means, but like not dressing in frilly frocks, but going with pants and pajamas and shit, and then having short hair and
It's okay, Manya. He's Mormon. All right.
Oh,
which are beliefs that I find offensive, as they contradict biological reality and the reality that it's obvious to all who see me that I am a man. Well, it's good that you're basing your worldview about everybody based on that you look like a dude.
Oh, God.
That's not everybody looks like you, bro.
Sir, I don't think so you know what biology is. And I don't get it. Biological reality. What the fuck do you mean by that?
Please keep in mind biological reality. Keep that one in your back pocket for a second. This goes even deeper regarding my religious beliefs, which are that gender is an essential characteristic of individual, pre-mortal, mortal, and eternal identity and purpose. I believe our spirits have a gender. Is that a thing in Mormonism? Is like your spirits have a gender in that?
I have no fucking clue.
I had never heard of this before. Is there?
Yeah, I think so.
If there's a Mormon out there, could you please, or somebody who is an ex-Mormon who is more familiar with this than I am, can you please give me a citation that is somewhere in Mormon doctrine that says that your spirit has a gender identity?
But I think so. What he's saying is, I believe our spirits have gender. So he's pulling this out of his ass.
Yeah, but he's justifying it through his religious belief, which is Mormonism. So I want to know what part of the Mormon doctrine he's getting this from, or if he is just pulling it out of his ass. Because here's the thing: if he's because he's already tying it to a biological reality. If you're tying it to a biological reality, that would say nothing about spirituality, because your spirit would be separated, or at least be different from your physical biology, right? So, and that we are all spiritual children of God, and except for the extremely rare cases of truly intersexed individuals, your spiritual gender is your biological gender on Earth, and this cannot change no matter what people believe or try to change in this life. That come the resurrection, they will be restored to their true spiritual / biological sex. Okay, he just contradicted himself again. He said that it is a false belief that there were more than two genders, and then admitted there are people who are intersex. Therefore, there is more than two.
And also, if he thinks that intersex people are a rarity or an exception, he should come to India. We have a whole community of intersex people, and they're still not treated well. But it's improving, but it took 60 years for it to improve. So
well, and you want to know why there's a little bit less intersex people in America? It's because of baby surgery.
Yeah, parents deciding on their own what gender their child should be and just going ahead with
or
it.
Doctors sometimes.
All doctors too. Yeah, not waiting for the child to decide. Let them, make the decision.
On the other hand, though, I'm going to explain this in a little bit of philosophy terms. Anytime you have a true dichotomy, like a proper dichotomy, So where you have one or the other, you have four answers, four cardinal answers. Now these are not the only answers, these are just the cardinal ones, right? So if you have the option of either true or false, your answers can be true, false, neither true nor false, or both true and false. So if the same thing applies to genders, if you have male or female, you actually have four cardinal options. You have either male or female, neither male nor female, and both male and female. Peace. Yeah. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love.
Oh, God.
What I'm getting at is, like, this is even when you try to make it a dichotomy, which it does not have to be, even when you do try to make it an either or, you still have four cardinal options, and that's not even including more complicated ones that are the rest of the spectrum, like your northwest and your southeast.
Yep. And also, like, yeah, permutation and combination, guys.
Also, if you're gonna put this much effort into writing like a Twitter essay, could you please grammar check yourself? Can insert ad for Grammarly here.
Hopefully.
This is a core doctrine of my faith, and the demand that I concede that this is a changeable characteristic by informing others of my gender pronouns based on the possibility I might identify as something different to the heavenly ordained reality that I am a man, or calling people a gender that they are not, to me is a fundamental act of blasphemy against God, the truth, and biological reality. Well, he's already admitted that it's not biological reality, so we can throw that out, right?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna ask for a citation needed on this concept of spiritual gender. But even if that were the case, let's play his game. Identifying someone as a sinner, identifying someone as a thief or a liar, doesn't make you culpable of being a thief or a liar in theology. General theology. So him adhering to someone else being like, I'm a woman, and you saying she, is not making you culpable in blasphemy against God, because that's them. That's between them and God, not you and God. You're inputting yourself between the relationship of God and other people, which is not your fucking place. So you need to cut that shit right the fuck out.
I think so. That's what extremely religious people have done. They insert themselves everywhere because they make it all about them. That tells me that you're a selfish piece of shit. And also,
you gotta talk about me. You want to talk about I want to talk about me. Oh my. Me.
So, and to say that extremely rare cases of truly sex individuals, 1.7% population of US is transgender. Intersex, which is 5.7 million people. That's a lot of people. All right. So I don't know if that's not rare. If it's happening, it means it's not an exception, in my opinion. If it's 1.7%, 5.6 million,
that's a lot. Yeah.
And if I go worldwide, because America still has like controlled birth rate, so they have low population of intersex people. If I go, how many intersex people in India? Let's see. Where is it? Oh yeah, World Population Review. Where the fuck is my India?
Where's my country? It's gone!
Yeah, but like we have 1.4 billion people, so yeah, it will be a lot more. Let's just say. A lot more. So yeah, so it's like it's not rare. It's not rare.
It's not rare nor an exception. It's just you haven't directly experienced it very much, and I can't imagine why an intersex person would want to be around somebody like you.
Yep. And so it's don't try and what do you say, justify your bigotry or your prejudice against a group of people by using, it's not natural, or it's like intersex is rare. that makes you look even worse. Even worse. And an idiot.
Do you see how this is not just about politeness for people like me? I mean, you're doing a whole lot to try to justify just being an asshole, so it does seem like that's exactly what it is, but that's you doing that, not other people. Yep. They are literally imposing the very crime upon me, denying a person's identity, that they claim I commit if I do not bow to their demands, and they see not their hypocrisy.
Dude, what I have to comment on that is, okay, you don't want to, call them by a preferred pronouns. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's fine. Don't pretend you're
actually interacting with these people. Like, who are you kidding? What trans people do you hang out with? Bullshit.
Yeah. Don't call them by their preferred pronouns. But then you have the freedom to do that. You have the religious freedom to do that. But then it's also on the people to call you on your bullshit.
Well, yeah, this is one of those things where you're trying to have your cake and eat it too, right? He wants to be allowed to be an asshole, but he doesn't want to take the flack that he's going to get for getting
being
called an asshole, right?
Yep.
And now there are some laws in some places. So Shad is Australian, if I remember correctly. I'm in Canada. You're in New Zealand. But there are certain laws in some places, like in Canada, where trans people have been added to protected classes. So if you are purposefully dead-naming people, if you are purposely misgendering them, it starts to, once it hits a certain point, it falls under harassment law. Because you're harassing them. So it's one of those things where you're allowed to have whatever your opinion is, and you're allowed to say whatever you want, but if I can't walk away from you, then it turns into harassment. And so as soon as it turns into the same thing with racism, same thing with like LGBTQ, well, I mean, the T is already in there, but same with religious rights, right? So like you can't, there are rules and laws against harassment. Now that's not going to stop him from being a dick on the internet. He can still be a dick, but pick a lane, dude. You don't get to be a dick and be like, but I don't deserve to take any flack for being an asshole. It's like, no, just be an asshole then. Just fucking own it.
Yeah, well, own it. Own it.
If you think, sorry, so that was a shout out to Canada. If you think that this is an extreme reaction, I mean, I don't think it's an extreme reaction in the way you seem to be thinking that I would think it's an extreme reaction. Do you think it seems extreme, or do you think this seems petty and a lot of work to have put in for just saying you want to be an asshole?
Yeah, it's this is just being petty, and this is just being this is whining and whinging.
I feel like there's like a degree of like extra. Like, yeah, I think he's just being extra rather than extreme, because he's trying to like bend and manipulate God, which is a pretty arrogant thing to do for a mortal man. to try and force the doctrine to fit into his ideology and then use it as a shield of justification to call everybody else hypocrites because they're saying he's an asshole. It's like, no, you're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Pathetic is a good word. Petty, yeah. Yep. Claiming it is blasphemy against God and my core self. I mean, I guess that is kind of a bit of an extreme claim, I guess, but I mean, you're the one calling it extreme, not me. For something you perceive as small, inconsequential, and simple as informing and using preferred gender pronouns, then it should not bother you if I don't do it. It's such a small thing, after all. This is such a dumb argument. It's such a dumb statement.
Why did you just make this like put this long essay in Twitter if it's such a small thing?
No, he's purposefully misrepresenting why people take an issue with it. He's just like, because people will say, hey, it's a small thing, why is it such a big deal for you to not do it? And then he's giving this explanation. He's like, well, if it's such a small thing, then why do you care if I do it or not? And the answer is because something that should be a small thing to you is a big deal to other people in some cases. And so he's trying to apply that the other way and say, like, yeah, it might be a small thing to other people, but it's a big deal to me. But he's not understanding that then just go your separate ways.
Yeah.
Because you're turning this into a demand. I don't know of any trans people that are demanding to hang out with you. Is that a thing that you're experiencing? Is that something that's happening with you? Something? Like, yeah, what?
On a separate note, even if I go by the statistics of US, 1.7% of the population, the total the numbers of intersex community in India comes to 23,800,000. Should we ignore all of them?
That's a big number. Say it again.
23,800,000.
23,800,000 intersex people. Okay, he's also going through. He's also going through, and he's doing this thing where he's applying what needs to work within a society to an individual, because that's not what people are asking for, right? He's just misrepresenting that, and I'm not going to go through that too much right now because he's going to get into that more. So I'm going to wait till he does.
No.
Or if it's as serious as people claim, to justify the extreme aggression people have in imposing this ideology. I'm just gonna real quick. Where is it?
Oh, you mean?
Citation needed.
Oh, does he mean like the street preachers or the preachers who end up like knocking on your doors and oh, would you like to hear about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
You mean Mormons?
Yeah. Or the lady that was like shouting on a campus, oh, if you give her one martini, she's
gonna open her legs and give her two martinis.
Yeah. That extreme aggression. Okay.
Extreme aggression. I want to know what the extreme aggression is.
That's
then you should respect how seriously I'm reacting and opposing it.
No.
So he thinks he's being extremely aggressive? Because he's trying to match their energy?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Yeah.
Weird thing to admit.
Yeah.
I need to be me, this straight white man with a large following, is it saying that I'm going to be extremely aggressive to these small group of minority people. Sus, but okay. If you say this about people's identity, now identity is in quotes.
Oh,
bro,
wow.
You have an identity. You built a brand off of you're identifying as somebody who knows anything about like medieval history. What?
Unfucking believable.
If you say this is about people's identity, then I agree, and I'm letting you know it's about my identity too. No, it's not. Nobody's making you use a pronoun you don't want to use. Nobody's out here calling you a woman. Nobody's out here being like, hey sis, what's up? Except for me, because that's what my response was. I just said, calm down, sis.
Stop being so dramatic, sister.
Being so dramatic. You're being really emotional about this.
And also, like, how to make your religion your whole identity.
Yeah, that's
what is
true.
it? Is it religion and your sex you were born with, or what? Are you just, your identity is just restricted to that, or is it more than that?
Is your spirit born with their religion too?
Yeah, I was wondering that. It's like, and also, like you said, Shesh, acknowledging someone else's identity does nothing to your identity. Your identity is attached to you. No one's attacking that. But what you're doing is you're projecting your identity onto other people by disrespecting them.
And you're trying to pretend that it's some kind of self-righteous religious stance, and it's not.
Yeah,
you're just imposing that.
It's not even a self-righteous religious stance.
Nope.
A lot of people will say that, okay, what someone else recognizes themselves as is not related to their identity or religious beliefs at all. Like, because what does the Bible say? That religion should be private? Isn't it? And we have people like this moron here who make a living off their whole like religious identity.
And Smitty makes a good point. Religion is a choice. Being trans isn't. You can make decisions about being trans, and you can make decisions and make changes and kind of decide how you want to navigate that, but you are who you are. Anyway, yeah, it's not about your identity. It changes. Your identity has nothing to do with whether or not you call someone he or she.
Yeah. It's like the same thing, like, when I was studying at the university, right? So I would sit with this lady who was from Oman. She was doing her PhD, and we would sit and eat lunch together. And then one day she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've got beef, and I'm sitting beside you." I'm like, "Listen, I don't care what's in your lunchbox, as long as it's not in my lunchbox." I'm like, "Relax, have your food, don't worry about it." And we were good acquaintances after that. Like, it doesn't matter what's in the lunchbox. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter what someone else's identity is. If you don't want to recognize or their identity, or what do you say, validate the other person's identity, fine, don't do that. But that doesn't mean that people are not going to call you out for it,
Right.
because it's bullshit.
Because now you're being a dick.
And also, like, you would think that you would want to improve in your life, move forward. This is a very stagnant position to stay at forever.
Yeah.
And you're not evolving, you're not moving forward, you're not growing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that God was supposed to hold you back like this. I didn't know that.
And I'm not going to sacrifice my identity to affirm another's, as
You're
I would
not.
never force others to do for me. You are, because this is
You
something
are
you're
right now.
doing to them.
Yep. So yeah,
We
so it
are-
goes both ways, right? If he's saying that others are forcing him, he's also doing the same. It goes both ways.
Yep.
He can't have his cake and eat it too.
We are free to believe what we want, and no one must affirm it for the sake of our feelings or mental health. That is just not true. We are a society. If you want to talk about biological reality, one of the reasons why humans were successful from an evolutionary standpoint, or even if you don't believe evolution is real, the reason why humans are successful where we are in the food chain is related, whether you think God created us or not, is related to our capability of being social and working together.
Yep.
You were
Humans are the most-
even if you take the theology and you leave the theology in there and say, hey, we're born into a broken world. And so some people have things like we're born with sin, or we're born into a sinful world and we're going to sin because none of us are perfect. There is if you believe that trans and like gender identification is a sin, if you believe that, 'cause good luck pointing that verse out. Good luck finding that. Mm-hmm. If you are, and you do consider it that, it would be no different than any other sin on the plethora list of sins. So that a trans person would be no different than somebody getting a tattoo. A trans person would be no different than somebody who lies. A trans person would be no different than somebody who steals. A trans person would be no different than somebody who looks at another woman's wife and covets them or some whatever bullshit.
Also,
and none of these and Shad in this case, because we caught Shad being full of shit, making him a liar, would be no different than a murderer.
And also,
and he's no different or no better than a trans person. Hooray!
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, repent for your sins, you asshole.
God treats all sin equally. That's part of the doctrine. So there's no reason for you, Shad, to treat trans people any differently than literally everybody else, because everybody else is a sinner anyway.
And it's between them and the God.
Right. There's one other thing in here that I did want to point, and he pointed out that it's between them and God, and they're going to get sorted out. It's like, okay, well then let God sort them out. Stop imposing you have nothing to do with this. But the other thing in here is that we are free to believe what we want, and no one must affirm it for the sake of our feelings or mental health. You are confusing what you are as an individual versus what society allows.
Yeah.
What the group agrees on versus your responsibility as an individual. Your responsibility as an individual is to do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do within the bounds of that society. If that society chooses to not ostracize trans people, it is not your job to singularly attempt to ostracize all trans people for no reason outside of God said so, except he didn't. God didn't say that.
Yeah, that's what I was like going to ask. Where did he say that? Where did he say that? Give me the scripture. before starting on this tirade. Thank you. Or is it just you're just pulling it out of your ass because you're an insecure bum?
I don't think that trans people are relying on people like an individual Shad to make sure that he calls me a girl, make sure he calls me a man. No, they're talking about societal issues. You can keep your belief to yourself, but that's where it belongs. It's yours, and you keep it to yourself. If you don't want to validate trans people by calling them their preferred pronoun, that doesn't then mean that you have to go out of your way to not call them that. It means you leave them the fuck alone, you monkey. There's multiple options here, and you're treating this like it's incredibly black and white, when it's not. You don't have... Also, nothing says that you had to write a thing explaining this. You could have just went on your merry fucking way. But no! Here we are!
Also, to see that we are free to believe what we want and no one must affirm it for the sake of our feelings or mental health, that's untrue. It happens all the time.
Right.
To placate people, we do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
People suffering from schizophrenia, dementia, memory problems. Mm-hmm. We do that for them. People are suffering from bipolar disorders. We do it for them. We make exceptions for them. Not exceptions. We accommodate them, right? And also, when you go to a psychologist, they will believe what you tell them in order to treat you. That's how it has. So to say that it shouldn't be affirmed for the sake of our mental health, that's so wrong. So like not true and like not a fact. Like that's now pulling it out of his head, and that tells me that he has never gotten involved in mental health and well-being. So stupid. Like that line alone tells me that he doesn't know what the fuck he is talking about.
No, of course he doesn't.
Dense
if you think that my belief that being forced to conform to preferred pronoun ideology, it's not a
oh God,
is an act of blasphemy against myself and God. I don't give a shit about blaspheming you. To put yourself on the same, like, the fact that you're putting your language is putting you on the same level as God is kind of like a bit yikes, dude. Kind of cringe.
What's that called? Pride? Pride? Is it pride or ego? What is it?
Yeah, that's definitely an ego thing.
So
maybe don't. Maybe if you're going to espouse religious shit about how, like, good of a person you are, you should not be putting yourself on the same level as God in your rhetoric, you fucking... clown.
Because you're a sinner already. You were born a sinner. So why the fuck? And if you repent, why do you care? Why do you care? Like, okay, you can say like to yourself every day, listen, God, this is what's happening in society. I have to conform to the rules of society. I know I was a born sinner and I'm committing more sin, but I'm going to repent, right? If you repent, God forgives you. Why can't you just go about your day like that? Nah, you have to make a big spectacle when God themselves have said that religion should be private. It's a private matter. And someone, Alex Markel from the live chat said, your God is a man-child if pronouns are blasphemy. Like, yeah, is your God so frail and fragile, and your faith so frail and fragile that, acknowledging someone else's identity like destroys it or affects it? I'm like, that's not a good faith to have then, right?
To quote Bo Burnham, I God of the universe, I created the universe. You think I'm drawing the line at the fucking deli aisle?
And also Silk 666 said, why do people speak on behalf of a god? Surely a god can speak for themselves or tweet. Oh yeah, we have God on Twitter. We do have.
Oh, and keep in mind that that it's blasphemous to put yourself on the same level as God. It's blasphemous to speak on God's behalf.
Mm-hmm.
So what Chad is doing is blaspheming.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you think my belief is ridiculous and nonsense, guess what? That's exactly how I feel about preferred pronoun ideology. As I would never force you to acknowledge a belief that you find ridiculous and offensive, so should you not impose the same thing upon me. That's what this whole post is. is you trying to force other people to, or you're trying to tell people that they are required to acknowledge your belief because you're saying that they are acknowledging trans people. You're saying if we acknowledge trans people, then we have to acknowledge you. That's what you're saying. That's what the whole thing is. So yes, it is. This is exactly what you're doing. Yeah. But I do think that your belief is ridiculous and nonsense. Why? Because that's the important part. Why do I think that? Because it's self-contradictory. It's self-contradictory, and you're just kind of inventing shit that you're just trying to use
pull it out
as
of
a. You're just pulling shit out of your ass that is not part of your doctrine, and you're putting it into the doctrine so you can justify being an asshole. Just be an asshole. Yeah, it's not my fault you're afraid of the fucking consequences of being a piece of shit because you don't
the society has no consequences?
You don't want society to ostracize you, so you want society to ostracize other people. You want to talk about
that's not gonna
they
happen.
Don't know about the hypocrisy that they're spewing? Bitch!
Yeah. Bitch.
Anyway, nobody's fucking imposing on you. What society is doing is making a collective decision, and that collective you live in the society. If you don't like it, get out of the society. Oh, you can't? Yeah, that's hard.
The jungles, man.
Ain't that rough?
Yeah.
The funny thing is it's not really that hard to avoid trans people. You want to stay away from trans people? Stay away from trans people.
Yeah. Unless he has someone, he recently discovered that there's someone trans in their family or their,
yes.
Family around them, and that's why this whole tirade came out, because that family member called him out. So, and I think so. Maybe. That's what it is. That's why this came out.
So our last thing for today.
Yeah, let's go.
Our last thing for today.
Oh God, let's let the best is for the last, guys.
Crack, and then we go on to we switch on shows. Are you ready? We're gonna rush through John real quick because he's really fucking stupid. Or do you want to save John? Do you want to save John and then come back? I mean, he can wait.
He can wait.
He can wait.
He can wait. Yeah.
All right.
I think so. We need a break before we start with the next show.
Yeah, I gotta get a snack. All right, we're gonna save John. We're gonna save John. He can wait. He's very patient, guys. As we learned from Twitter. He's very patient, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we play the long game. We always play the long game.
Yeah, I mean, he can wait his turn. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. But it was funny, like, what he put out on Twitter. It was funny.
It's a good one.
And the fucking dishonesty. Oh, my fucking lord. Oh, my fucking lord. Yeah, chef's kiss.
It's a good one. He thinks so. The long and short of it is, I'll give you the teaser. He thinks he addressed what we said.
When he didn't.
Hashtag my fault.
He actually doubled down on the bullshit he said without justifying it again. And then ran to another bigot to get validation. Tells a lot about you, bud. Daddy, look, they're mean to me!
Mommy!
Yeah.
The duelists were mean. Yeah, he called us duelists?
Yeah, he called us duelists.
And then I came up with the best response I've ever come up with in my whole goddamn life, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm gonna be touting this one for a while. I sent him a gif of Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! That said, as president of Kaiba Corp, this is invalid. And I just said, I told him he was a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck. And I guarantee you, he did not understand a single fucking word that I was saying.
Nah. Yeah.
Alright. Thank you so much for joining us.
Chesh had to explain it to me, actually.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. This was a hell of a lot of fun. Even though we did cover a lot of, topics, but, it do be like that sometimes. But we're gonna get on out of here. We will be back. It was epic. See? I've been validated. Yes. Now we need to start putting we need to start putting laws into place that force Tradversity to acknowledge how fucking funny I am. I'm hilarious. Everybody needs to acknowledge and validate my fucking sense of humor.
Yes.
I mean, that's what he wants, right? It religiously tracks that I believe that I am the funniest person alive. Therefore, by Shad's argument, he has to acknowledge that I'm fucking hilarious.
And Smitty, I'm your daddy. You should know that by now.
Oh
You
shit.
should know that by now. I'm your
Thanks
daddy.
very much for joining us, like and share and all that fun stuff. Stick around. We're gonna be back in like 20 minutes for
Really?
our.
Can we push it a little forward? Like 30 minutes? Like start like
I don't know. Ask
15
Landon.
plus.
Just send him a
Ask
message,
Landon.
man. I don't know what to tell you.
Landon, my mate. Okay, I'll
All
ask
right.
him.
We'll be back in a couple minutes. The show starts soon. We are going to be doing our Debate Hub volcano show. So if you're interested in educating yourself about volcanoes and our tracking of Madame Pele, which we've been doing for about a year now, we're going to be back with that. So we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Hello.
Welcome back to Don't Affect Friday.
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 It's going to be fun.